Sure.
Okay, so again, I'll just repeat that. This is the setup that gives you the best uh, possibility for success and getting the most out of this class. How we have two chairs facing just like they're facing, right? They act as sort of parallel bars for us
Everything.
on our different balance exercises, and with the least amount of rigmarole, changing this and changing that around. So take the time in the beginning to set up, right? Take the time, set up this situation, right? This situation here, and then a chair to sit on. It doesn't have to be a turning chair. I'm going to be turning left and turning back this way to be able to show you guys different angles of the body. But for you, all you need is just a good chair. Ideally, the chair you're sitting in is high enough that your hips, pelvis, are above or at the level of your knees, not below. If the hips are below the knees, then the back tends to spill backwards. So if you need to put a cushion on your chair, do that. And then we begin both our Monday and Friday classes. Monday's class is basically, if you simplify it, lower half. And then Friday's class is upper half and different coordinations for the brain and body that Tai Chi has to offer. But both of them, we do this opening seated work because it just sets up the brain and body. It loosens up the basic areas that need attention. So scooting to the front edge of your chair, sits bones or buttock bones planted at that front edge, hands comfortably on your thighs. Notice that I'm not pulling them like this. I'm not reaching them like that. I'm not holding them in any way. There's just this softness, this relaxation, this allowing for sinking and connecting down to the ground through relaxation, passiveness, what you could think of as yielding. And if that's the second rule, Chun One is this yielding, sunken heaviness. But again, if I don't have alignment and I start sinking, well, then I'm going to crumple up, right? So that's why we have to first grab a hold of the body, bring the head above, bring the shoulders above the hips, place the shoulders, where we want them aligned, get the hips to the front edge, have your legs neutral. Once we set all the structural parts up, then we release. So Zhongjung is the Chinese term, Taoist term for integrity of structure, central upright. And then Chunwan is that term meaning soft, sunken, and heavy. So allowing heaviness. Because when we want to be agile and mobile, that heaviness is something we tend to fight. We think we got to fight it. But the Taoist understanding is very elegant. It's understanding, no, don't fight anything. Don't resist anything. Allow that which is heavy to go where it would go, down. And then the third rule, you could say, Qing Ling, meaning lightness and nimbleness. And that's not something we have to do. It's the state of our body when we've got Zhongjang and we allow Chunwan. Then we have Qingling, lightness, nimbleness. The softness of your body allows you to breathe more deeply, right? So take your next inhale and feel how that expanding requires pliability. It requires softness. Expand, get a nice full inhale. And then when you exhale, Feel that melting, that again, softer still, releasing of the mechanisms and tissues. And when you're ready, you inhale again. And hold the breath. Enjoy that feast of chi. When you're ready, you exhale. And then hold the empty. Enjoy that fasting. And then when you're ready again, inhale. Holding. And when you're ready, exhale. The body ever wants to yawn, yawn deeply. The body wants to change its breath pattern for a moment, you allow that. So we're all about allowing the natural. That's the Taoist understanding. That's where all these great practices came from, is tuning into the natural and then getting on that flow. Couple more breaths. So other important component is what's called the E. The E is the mind. The ability for our mind to either be totally scattered, totally stressed, totally depressed, or to be none of that and just be clear, present. And Chris, try to get your head upright for me if you can, as best you can. So that requires that effort, right? There's some effort needed there. Try to get it to a place where when you relax it, it doesn't fall forward, if possible, right? Last 2 breaths here, make them real long, real smooth, real thorough. Notice how this breath practice is funneling, focusing your E, your mind. By being present with each of the 4 phases of breath, your mind has somewhere to be aiming, somewhere to be guided, focused, attentive. Now on your next inhale, let's add some movement here. Hands slide back, elbows slide back, shoulder blades slide back. Now lift your chest up, lift your chin up. Arch your back as much as it can possibly arch. See if you can see the ceiling. Go back, 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 back. And then do the opposite. Slide the hands forward past your kneecaps till they're straight and locked. Hollow your chest back and drop your head completely. So now, Chris, allow your head to go all the way to that dropped position you were in a moment ago. Yeah, totally dropped. And then come totally away from that dropped position. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, look way, way up, holding that position. And then when you're ready, slide the hands forward and drop the head and round the back. Let's do this 3 more times. The Taoist idea is that the only way to get good central upright is to be able to go all the way in all the ranges of motion of all the mechanisms. We can't try to hold ourselves there. We have to cultivate this vehicle, right? And whether it's Parkinson's that's doing it to us or just time, right? Time is in and of itself the big disease, or whatever you could say. It's causing these changes that are not great. And the Taoists understood that, and they created all these practices that address exactly what is happening to us as we age. We're upkeeping our aging Porsche, our classic vehicle that we're trying to take excellent care of. Now settle back to neutral. And let's go left hand forward, right hand and elbow back, turn the shoulders, turn the head, rotate. And then we switch. Come back through the middle, right hand going forward, left hand and elbow going back, turning the head. and then switch again, turning. Don't be in a rush. If I'm going faster than your body is ready to go, just go at your own pace. Do fewer repetitions, right? Don't be rushed. Main thing is that you start to understand the idea of what we're here to do, right? The rotating parts, the rotating pieces that make us up, we're trying to give them their little specific time of attention and movement. Let's do one more each way. And then we come back to middle and pause in the middle for a moment. Then we dangle the arms nice and loose. Try to keep as much of this tall crown of the head up to the sky thing as you can. And then shift the weight to your right butt cheek. And let's just do that portion a couple of times. Just notice that you can very passively kind of rock to the right buttock, rock to the left buttock. So that's range of motion in the pelvis leg connection. That's the quad. This room to move inside here. Now, the next time you're in your right hip, lean and dangle. And then let's add, just float this left wrist up. This will allow us to get it a little more dangle and even empty this left foot so it floats off the floor. And then come back to middle, hang that left arm straight, and then gently shift to the left buttock. Lean to the left, left arm dangling longer, right wrist floats up, right foot empty, and just get this little side lean. And then let's do it again. And see if you can start to get this to have the feeling of, let's say, a palm tree in the wind or some tree that's got this great root. So we're not almost going to fall over because we're so relaxed. We've got good rootedness. And then we've got this pliability. And even though it's loose, we want to realize that it's not sloppy. You can be so relaxed and actually be incredibly controlled, incredibly precise. Usually when we try to be precise, we get rigid, we get overly tense. Tai Chi is this blending of seemingly opposite paradoxical ideas. And then we come back to neutral. Now, really important, where we all hold tension is the more, I believe, the most complex joint in the body, the scapula. The scapula lift up, scapular shoulder blades, arms connect to the scapula. So we go up and we slide down. Just do that a couple of times just to get that first command going. One more, right? Shrug and slide. Then we've got pinching them together, known as retraction. Relax that to neutral. And then slide the shoulder blades apart. That's always the one that people have trouble with. This, right? It's kind of a weird shape that you see me doing. It's like I'm hollowing the chest and my scapula are spreading apart from each other. And then I'm back to neutral. Do it again. Squeeze them together. Let them relax to neutral. Protract. They slide apart, and you got to let the chest soften. All right? One more. And now we put all those together for the full round of protract the chest hollow, then lift up, then squeeze back while lifted, then slide down and neutral. Protract and lift. Retract and slide. Neutral, protract, lift. Retract, slide down. Unpacking the barnacles, the glue, the rigidity, and promoting Schwen, fluidity. Flow like the river. That's what Schwen means. Now reverse. Going back, then up, then forward to that hollow shape, down, neutral. back, up, forward, down, and neutral, the most important part. Back, up, forward, down, neutral, back, up, over, top, forward, and neutral. One more. And release. Now bend your elbows, flare the elbows, and lift. Elbows down, around in front, touch. Down, around, out, and lift. Down, around in front, touch. One more. As I said, the Taoist thing is the health of the body is the health of the mechanisms. Let's go ahead and pull the elbow back. The health of the mechanisms are the usage of the mechanisms, right? It isn't rocket science. It isn't crazily difficult to wrap our head around. So, Chris, notice what I'm doing. Just much simpler than that. Yeah, that's all. Just that. Down, back, back. Yeah, back. And then down. And then forward and up. And then down. Now we go out, one above, one below, cross, hug. Then elbows out, one above, one below, cross, hug. Elbows out, other above, other below, cross, hug. Elbows out, cross and hug. Out, down, release. Scoot a little bit back on your chair so you're very stable, and lift the knee and pull in. So this drawing in, extending fully, drawing in and down. Other leg, drawing in, extending, drawing in, down. This is called chambering, loading, and then expressing out that force or power, reloading, down. Loading, expressing or issuing, charging or loading, down. Now, right leg extend, we go foot, point, flex, point, flex. Continue. And then tip the foot in, out, known as inversion, eversion, inversion, eversion. And then we circle. Right, and if you're newer to the practice, this stuff might feel new. Go ahead and reverse. But just keep in mind, we start every class like this. And some of you have been doing it a while. You might even be bored with this portion, but I don't care. Why? Because it's really important that you get to this place where this stuff becomes second nature, where it becomes so just, oh, I know where we're going, and you just drop right into it, right? Tip the foot in, tip the foot out, tip the foot in. So we're really drumming it in that these are the basics of biomechanics. Let's go ahead and circle, circle, and circle, circle, and down. Now, scoot forward on your chair. Last one we always do with the legs because it's really important. Ball and socket joints turn, they rotate. So step wider apart than your hips so you have an extra space here. Lift your toes and then turn on the heels, toes and knees in. And then turn on the heels, toes and knees out. So now we're rotating from the ball and socket joint. Internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation, external rotation. continue, internal, external, one more in, one more out, and then neutral. Now we've just freed up the quad, the hip space. Fold forward from the hip space, hip hinge. And then sit vertical from the hip space. And then from the hip space, tip back. And then vertical. And then forward. So I'm creating all of this big change with the outer parts of my body, the relationships of my body between torso and legs and all of that. But really, it's just a small, precise movement in the quad. This is the power of Tai Chi. When you find the precise pivots, you make humongous, powerful change on the outside by having very small, precise change on the inside. That's the magic of it. It's easy to understand. It's difficult to be that attentive and that precise. Now, come back to sitting upright, slide your feet back. So from that quad space, we've loosened our arms and shoulders. So keep them loose. Fold, arms out beyond the ankles a little bit, and we just stand up nice and tall. So we can accomplish some big movement, a change from sitting to standing, and then from standing back to sitting by folding at the quad, hinging, and down. So this is a big deal. We're changing the entire context of our relationship to the world. But if you know how to do it right, you're finding, oh, that's so easy. It's just hinge at the hips. How do I hinge at the hips? Well, I got to relax. I got to let everything else be soft and loose. Now, don't sit in your chair, but do the same mechanics. So you're going hip hinge, sink as if you're going to sit down. You might even touch your booty to the chair, but don't sit, and then come back up. And then do it again. Fold and sink down. It's almost like a standing fetal position. It's kind of like that. That's the Tai Chi squat. That gets all your parts to be able to fold and unfold, close and open. And we're standing. Now stay standing. Don't move your chair. Do not move your chair. I moved mine. You don't move yours. It's there for safety. Now we've got these two chairs. You got the one on your right, so go to that one. So I'll be saying, this is my left hand, but I will say right hand because I'm your mirror. So this is for your emergency use, your safety, right? Hang your arms loose and stand. Normally people lock their knees or clench their hips, buttocks, and back. Try to not do that. Try to relax. Try to just be loose enough that your legs have a little bit of this bendability. That doesn't mean you need to bend your knees, though. They could be straight. They could be slightly bent. But they are bendable. That means they're open, right? Keeping that openness, we're going to change body weight to the right leg. So the right leg's taking all the weight, and the left leg is emptier. And then change. Now, when you notice in my body, when I'm doing that, there's movement occurring. But where that movement occurs is really important. It's in this hip space. It isn't up in my upper body, leaning, right? It's not pushing my hips left and right like that. It's this sort of moseying, gently repositioning, and gently repositioning. My zhong is intact, vertical upright. My chun one is this softening and sinking. So when I go over to this right leg, I want to sink through that leg, and that makes this leg actually freer, right? See if you can gently swivel or slide the foot around. Can you really separate yin and yang, separate full and empty? And then change from your middle, zhong intact, cappuccino cup on your head, intact. Let the weight go through this leg. And then can you get to where your right foot has this freedom? where it's not stuck to the ground. So this is your secret Tai Chi at the supermarket, standing in line, standing at a stoplight when you're waiting for it to say, okay, time to walk, rather than stand and get locked and then stress out and try to walk. No, you just kind of casually lean this way, shift. This foot's ready to step, and then you shift and change. Now, stay in your left leg, right foot empty, lift to the tippy toe. So I'm going to turn a little sideways so you can see those angles. Lift, down, shift. The weight goes down through the right leg. The left leg is empty. Keeping it empty, I just go boop, down, and then shift. Beginner level has these very separate parts of shift, then lift the heel, then lower the heel, then shift. And those of you that have been doing it a while, remember that as you get better at it, you can start to bring them closer together. So that would be, you're here, and then as the foot's going down, I can start changing the weight into it, and I can start lifting at the same time. So it starts to have this look to it, this feel to it. So again, even though we've done this exercise many times, we do it every time, there's levels to this stuff. And so let that be where you get your newness that you might be looking for, is you start taking it to the level 2 and level 3. Now let's go back to a level sort of 1 quality, but let's do the next challenge. So put the weight in the left leg. Now have your hand on the chair lightly. Go tippy toe and disconnect the foot from the floor. Place the foot back on the floor with 0 weight. Then change the weight. Make sure you got that empty quality. Then go tippy toe, disconnect, reconnect without any weight in it, then change. So this is the level 1 version of this exercise, right? Tippy toe, lift, place the foot down with 0 weight, change, tippy toe. We have to do this one because it pulls it apart. It separates all the different things that are happening instead of it just being one big clumsy activity, right? And then the level 2 of this exercise would be where you start to blend it back together, where I'm going down and up, and down and up. And it starts to just go, ah. Now, if you try to do that too soon, you have to then grab and yank, and you make it, it's not the right thing for you to do yet. So make sure you keep in mind these ideas of, okay, level 1, change, tippy toe, lift, down, change. You have to be able to do this one with no hand before you got any business trying to do this one with your hand, right? And see, my middle pivot is the constant. Now, put your weight in your left leg. Let's go tippy toe and lift all the way. So make sure your hand's on that chair for this one. And then the leg softens all the way long down and lands to the ground. And then we, from the middle, change. Now go tippy toe. Bring the knee all the way up, all the way. And then notice when my leg goes down, my posture stays nice and tall. So it's this softness to be able to let that leg fully extend to the ground. Then I change the weight. And then it's tippy toe all the way into the folded position. Soft leg. It has to release. It has to lengthen. And then change. Right? And there's that next level of this exercise as well for those of you feeling really confident, where you kind of go, as the weight's going down, this is coming up. As my weight's going down. But if you do that and you feel any danger, go back to the previous, please, right? Be your own guardian in these ways. All right, and down. So that gives us, that's such an infrastructural exercise because it teaches you where's my middle, How do I connect down? How do I separate empty and full? How do I keep Zhongjang upright? Now we bring that and put another challenge on it, moving forwards and backwards through space using those same skills. Back up a little bit. So the chair's in front of you and to your right. You got your Zhongjang, your vertical upright. Let the weight go down through your left leg and put your right foot in front, heel touching. Notice my toe is in the air. Primary direction is down. That's that Chun 1. So down through the right leg, not forward, down. And then down through the back leg, not backwards, down. Down through the front leg, that moves me forward, but my cappuccino cup is still balanced, it's floating. That's the sensation we get from getting better and better at Tai Chi movement is I'm floating, but not floating in an ungrounded way. I'm floating in a sort of transcendent way. We're just kind of moving through space like a fish moves through water. Now, level 2 of this exercise, we're going to put hand on chair, disconnect the leg, straight leg lift, heel down, change the weight down through that right leg. Now your back leg, bend the knee like a little flamingo. Touch the toe back where it was. Change. So we're working on using the down to allow a safe lift. And then using the down to create a safe lift. Instead of prematurely yanking on the leg, take that extra moment to really empty it out. And then you'll find really just your just your mind can go, okay, leg lift. And then down. And then bend. And down. And then down. Lift. Down. Hand on chair for this next one. The weight going down allows the full lift, the lowering, change. This back leg, the knee goes forward and up, toe behind you, change, lift, lower, change. And those of you that have been doing it a while, just remember, every one of these exercises has that same opportunity to make it level 2, we'll call it, where it's simultaneous, right? But the moment you do that and you force it, then you put yourself at risk, and that's not wise, right? So just know that there's always room to make these exercises go to that next phase. Let's switch sides. So now we sidestep, shift. We're near this chair. Put the weight in your right leg. Put your left foot in front. Heel. Try to be empty. So full and empty. Zhongjang. Weight goes down. Weight goes down. Notice how you don't have to think about moving forward. You just go down and you have moved forward. You go down and you have moved back. And there's this power to this movement as well. This has martial power, athletic power, the power to push a door open or knock somebody over or make space for ourselves or whatever it is, right? This, I'm grounded and moving through space. Let's go level 2. Hand on chair, front leg, straight leg lift, down, shift. Weight going down gives me the freedom to flamingo. Toe down, still empty, and then weight goes down this leg. Up, down, change. And even though I say down, 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 over and over and over again, we're still not doing it. And I say we, meaning all of us. Because it's just so innate to pull, to grab, to hold. And so really get this idea that there's always more downness you can achieve, and you'll know it when you start to find it. You'll start to go, whoa, I feel really agile and yet steady. Let's go level 3 here. Hand on the chair, we go up, down, change. The weight going down allows this up and this reach back, change. The down allows up, down, change, up, and back, change. One more. So it's the steadiness that softness provides. First, it doesn't make as much sense, but then after you start to feel it, you're like, oh yeah, of course, looseness, settledness is more steady than holding, soft and settled, that idea. Switch sides. Take that first, or that exercise we just did, and we'll go to the next level on it. So put your weight in your left leg, right foot in front. Level 1, casual. Shift. Back foot is empty, step it. Shift. So now we've moved more forward, but all we got to do is go down, step without shifting, so you don't clumsily go into that foot, and then down. Then we go down, that moves me forward. I step without moving any further forward. And then I go down, and that moves me forward. Same thing going backwards. I go down, that moves me backwards. I step without moving any further, and then I go, right? Whereas a lot of times it's this clumsy body going with the leg thing. So we got to separate those parts. So we're going down, step, down, down, step, down. Let's go level 2 on this. Hand on chair. Lift, lower, shift. The down allows you to then pick the foot up and step over something and then down to the floor with no body weight. Notice when I put this foot down, I didn't go with it. I didn't move more forward. Now I move forward. And then I go flamingo, down, and then shift. Chris, try to get your body a little more upright. Use the chair to get you more vertical. That's why I hope you have set up your chairs like I said so, because then you have this ability to sort of push off the chair to get vertical. There's no honor in not using it and allowing this crumpled body. So use your crutches to get you vertical. Leg comes up, tucks, and reaches back. Shift. So again, we've got lift, lower, shift, step over something. No body weight change, no moving forward, and then down. Moves me the rest of the way. Flamingo. Down. This is really important. Don't let your body go back with the foot. Stay right where you are, then down. Now let's go level 3. Knee up, down, shift. Same thing. The weight stays down and allows me to go heel to butt, knee to chest, foot forward and foot down. Still no weight has changed. And then I shift. And then I'm going knee all the way up, toe reaching back, chain. Same thing. The weight has to stay down so I can go knee up, tuck foot, and reach foot back with no weight change. No weight change at all. Then it changes. The weight stays down, allows lift, lower, shift. The weight staying down allows that full movement. Weight staying down allows this. Back. Weight staying down. Weight staying down. And let's switch sides. Side step. Level 1. Place the weight in your right leg, left foot in front. We go casual. Just shift. Step without any weight changing, and then shift. When I shift, the down brings me back. When I step, there's no further backwards movement, and then there's backwards movement. Again, we're separating events. Down moves me forward. Step does not move me forward. The down moves me forward. Down moves me back. Step. Down moves me back. Because eventually you can blend it all together. And then it's like a choo-choo train that doesn't stop. It just goes floating, floating, right? But if you can't separate these events, then it's just clumsy. It's just the way it is. Let's go level 2. Hand on chair. We go lift, lower, shift. The weight down is what gives me this ability. Not effort and tension, emptiness. And then the down gives me the freedom to flamingo. Toe down. And then down, it moves me back. I stay where I am, go through this whole little movement. And then the down allows this freedom. Middle pivot. Stays as a floating interior space. It's not a place, it's a space. Kind of different, right? It's not a junction I'm grabbing, it's a interior space, realm, through which everything can move. So no longer looking for stability in solidity. It's actually in space that we find that solidness, that stability. Level 3, hand on chair, so you can go full lift, down, shift, and then go heel to butt, knee to chest, foot out, down, shift. Hand on the chair so you can go full lift, toe back, shift. The weight stays down, it stays down. Then I shift, and the weight is down through the other leg, which allows this. The weight going down allows all of that. Down. From here, move to the far left of your space, and then turn and face down range. You got all that room in front of you. You got your chairs on your left for emergency use. Level 1, empty the left foot by letting all the weight go down through the right leg. Left foot is in front. The down moved me forward. The step, I do not move forward. Then the down moved me more forward. The step did not. The down shift, step, down, step, down, step, down. Going backwards, be careful, know where your chairs are. Down, step without shifting. So when I step the foot back, my body should not move backwards in space at all. And then down, moves me backwards. Then you step without moving backwards. And then it's the down that moves you back. Step, down, step, down, step, down. Let's do that again. Those of you feeling more confident, you can take it to that next level, which has less stopping, right? Because we're going down and sort of stopping there. You can go down, step down, step down, step down, step down, down. And then down, step down. As long as you stay relaxed in the shoulders, relaxed through the body, through the legs, the weight really just stays underneath us. And we just change how we're plugging into that weight. It's going down, down. And the next time you're all the way back at the starting position, right? Where we started this last exercise at the end of the runway. Then turn and face forward again. Put all your weight in your left leg and empty right foot, step sideways out, sideways in. We're going to do that a couple of times. So the weight's in that left leg, sideways out, sideways in. Same concept that when my leg goes out, my body does not move sideways in space. It doesn't go with it. So it's only the leg that is moving. Now put the foot out there, leave it out there, and change the weight to the right leg. Now my body moves sideways through space because I went down. And then as I go down, my body moves sideways this way. Down, sideways. Down to the left. Down to the right. My cappuccino cup's doing just fine on top because I'm not leaning, I'm not lurching, I'm not pitching, none of that. It's just, and it's such good news. It's less, it's far less than whatever you're trying to do. That's extra. That's the good news of Tai Chi. That's why it can work for Parkinson's, as I understand it, right? I'm going, I think if people really got tuned into this stuff, it would make their, not symptoms disappear necessarily, but it would create this amazing functionality even in the midst of what's going on. Stay in your right leg, and let's go left leg that is empty, in, out. So my body shouldn't move in space at all. I'm not lurching, I'm not tipping, I'm not spilling my cappuccino cup. I'm just one leg full, one leg empty. Now bring that left foot in and keep them close. Now this one is really training our quad, belly, and back mechanism by going down through the left, down through the right. So there's far less sideways movement than when we had our wide stance. So it really helps us find, like you could see, there's something changing. There's a couple inches in lateral movement change in space, but it's far more about a sort of internal rolling or an internal changing of the gears inside this mechanism. Change. Change. Now go down through the left, step the right. Then go down through the right, which moves you sideways, step the left in. Then go down through the left, step the right. Down through the right, slide step in the left. Cappuccino cup, balance. Because I'm just using the down and the down and the down and the down and the down. Let's go back. The other reason I think it can work for things like Parkinson's and other nervous system issues is because of this emphasis on not having this high nervous system arousal state. Instead, it's about parasympathetic down regulation, release, emptying. So that we're not in a triggered position. We're actually mastering being totally untriggered. Now, step wide, and we're going to do a little bit of advanced Tai Chi today, using the side-to-side movement as our practice. So hopefully you've been coming to the Friday class as well, so you know some of these movements of the bear washing paws in the stream. So change your weight to your right leg, change your weight to your left leg, just like we did. Now, from this middle pivot, it can also turn. So as I'm in the right leg, I've turned a little to the right. Then change your weight to the left leg and turn to the left. And then change the weight and turn. So here we're separating two things. We're separating shift and then turn. But the more advanced version of this, eventually it's a hyphenated idea. Shift turn, where it's like one word. So it's this shift turn. And then now we let our bear paws be in the pond here, or in the stream. And we're going, this is called brush knee. This is called sweep the leg. So again, I'm not standing stiff and moving my arms by themselves. I'm shift, turn, brush, sweep. And then I'm turning the hands around and getting them ready for shift, turn, brush, sweep. And I'm turning them and going shift, turn, brush, sweep. And shift, turn, brush, sweep. So we work on all this stuff in that Friday class. So hopefully this is something you'll be picking up. Now, shift turn to your right, brush and sweep. So we're in this position. Left foot should be empty. Bring it in. Keep it in and do that shift into the left leg. Turn, brush, sweep. So we had a close stance, yet we still produced that powerful movement of the bear washing paws. Right foot should be empty. Step it with no body weight. Then shift, turn, brush, sweep. Left foot should be empty now. Step it in. Shift, going into your left leg. Turn, brush, sweep. Right leg should be empty. Step. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. And remember the term Schwen. So once you've broken down the events and you separated them and you got them a little bit under your control, then you let them merge back together. You let them just have the river flowing quality, where it's just. And that's where it starts to feel like a LSD trip or something, right? It starts to feel like a altered state, is where you dropped out all this stuff that we're carrying, all your walls sort of melt away, and you realize, in a sense, we're the ocean. We have all the qualities of the ocean. We have this ability to surge and flood this way, and then surge and flow that way. And we're not solid, but yet we're incredibly powerful and capable of great force, enacting great force in the body and in the world, right? But not because we're so rigid and tough, right? It's like the ocean. So now, let's do the bear swats the jumping fish. Do it in place a couple of times. So it's got that singing flow, this high hand, like just picture a big old clumsy bear going swat, right? And we got the brush knee below and the swat fish up high. And then we want to put it all together so it's shift and turn and brush and swat. And then it's switch the hands, so one goes high, one goes low, and then we're ready to go shift and turn and brush and swat. And then we're ready to switch, and it's shift and turn, brush, knee, swat, fit. Hands got to change. Now let's do it with the advanced walk. So shifting into your right leg, shift, turn, brush, swat. Now, as you change your hands, you step in. Then it's shift, turn, brush, swat. As your hands are changing, step out. Shift and turn, brush and swat. Hands change, step in. Shift and turn, brush and swat. Hands change, step out. Shift, turn, brush, swat. Hands change, step in. When you get better at this sort of broken down version, this step-by-step version, then you can make it Schwen. Let it become, once again, the ocean. Also, you can add, some of you that have been doing it a while, some of them can be kind of high up stance, and then others you can kind of sink and turn and be a little lower. Sink and turn and be even lower. I'm sort of round and stooped, right down. And then the next one I might come back up and straighten. So this is practicing the rise and sink of advanced Tai Chi. This ability to be up in the body and down through the body. Freedom of movement, right? And step. Come back to the middle of your space. Chairs on either side for safety. Hands together. Rub your palms. Rub the back of one hand. Rub your palms. Back of other hand. Palms. Qua. Groin area, inguinal crease, soft palms on the crease, and then just go up and down. We're not digging, we're just promoting space, promoting flow through the area. And then we're going across the hip flexors. Notice how I've changed the angle of my movement. This was at a down diagonal. This is at a sort of circular side, around movement. And then we come around to the back and the tail. And this is sort of a tighter little clearing. We're trying to clear out where the tail tends to get jammed. And then come up, and the lumbar and all this musculature on the side, the quadratus lumborum and others in the area. And then remembering our Tai Chi squat, so you stick your butt back a little bit. As you sit the butt, sweep the hands down the outside of the legs, around to the inside of the legs, stand all the way tall, hands come past the groin and to the belly button. So get your index fingers in your belly button. So you come all the way to there. So you're, with your brain, your hand, everything is going, there's your middle. All right? And then we go qua, hip flexors, tail, low back lumbar, and then sit and sweep the outer legs, the yang channels, come around, standing, sweep up the yin channels to the navel, all the way up. One more time. Qua, hip flexors, tail, lumbar, yang channels, yin channels, navel. And then we reset the upper. Go up the outside of the arm to the shoulder, turn that palm up, come down the inside of the arm to the wrist, and then off. Turn the palm down, go up the outside all the way over the shoulder, turn the arm palm up, and go down the inside to the wrist and off. Up the outside, turn the arm down the inside, off. Eventually it has a flow. Switch, up the outside, turn, down the inside to the wrist, off, turn, outside, turn, down the inside and off, turn, outer, inner, outer. And float your arms just slightly out like this, and then lift and lower on the heels, a little bounce, 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 bounce. So try to get, so instead of standing, let's say stiff like this, we're opening the space and then trying to create like a little bounce shake inside of all the places inside the torso, the shoulders, the back, all the layers of tissue. Loose. And then we close with wing, roll, fold, settle. Here's the navel again. A little kind of scoop. and then center point on each palm, we go 1, and then this center point on the back center, 2. And then we close with the hand mudra, which the hand mudra basically represents that. That. Right? One thumb, grab it, fold the hand over, makes this little symbol that looks similar to that. Right? So you make the little symbol. Bow. Thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you know where your chair is when you try to sit down. And then there are any thoughts, questions, something you want to share. As Gail put it, a Tai Chi moment. If anyone has any Tai Chi moments to share where you either